Hey everybody, it's Julie. How is it going today? I have a totally different live for you guys, and there's a reason behind it. So those of you that know me well, you know that I have been a licensed professional counselor for many, many years, and I help adolescents and children and adults overcome depression and anxiety. And in our community here in Denver, we have had really tragic things happen in the last week in our high school. So in our high school, there has been 2 successful suicides, and it is heartbreaking. I don't know any of the families. I just know, hey Katie, how are you? If you guys are coming on and you have adolescents or you know people that have adolescents, like share this message with them, because it's, like I said, it's totally different than what I've done. But I feel compelled to do this email. And I feel compelled to do this email because as a mental health professional, there are so many things that we can do to help kiddos so that they aren't struggling with depression and thoughts of suicide. So I'm coming on here totally different. And I gotta tell you, this is like one of the most nerve-wracking ones I've ever done. So we've had 2 successful suicides at the high school. And so when I've come on and I've started to think about this, and those of you that know me know that I'm like passionate to a fault, right? I like take this and I'm like brewing over this and like, oh my God, how does this happen? How are our kids successfully committing suicide, and where did we drop the ball? Where could we have helped them better, right? And so I started, thinking in my head, it's kind of like bullying, right? As adults, we're not always privy to the bullying that happens. And as adults, we're not always privy to what's going on inside of kids' heads. But who is privy are the other children, the other adolescents, their friends, their peers. They're the ones that are like our first line of defense, so to speak. So I started to think, okay, so we need to stop these kids, because I'm going to share with you some really scary statistics, okay? So suicide, and I have my notes here because I've been doing a ton of research. Suicide has doubled in the last 10 years for kids from ages 10 to 14, okay? Doubled in the last 10 years, like successful suicides, all right? It's the second leading cause of death for children, which is mind-blowing to me. 90% of them are associated with mental or addictive disorders, so like depression or alcoholism or abuse of drugs. There are 3,000 attempted suicides daily in grades 9 through 12, all right? That's unheard of. 3,000 daily attempted suicides. 4/5 of teens who attempt suicide have very clear warning signs, okay? And that's where my message is today. The 4 out of 5 teens who have successfully committed suicide, they're giving us warning signs, but we're missing them. And then it doesn't just typically occur. Like I said, there's these signs that they give us. And so I want to talk to you guys about the signs, because it's something that you can share with your kids. It's something that parents need to know so that they can have these conversations with their teens, with their kids. And again, it's 10 to 14. So it's not even like we're talking about younger kids. We're talking about 10-year-olds. We're talking about babies still, right? Kids that are in 5th grade, 6th grade and up, 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade. So here are some things that you can do to help your children look for those signs, because like I said, they're going to be the first ones. They're going to be the first line of defense for us. And let me make it very clear. They're not the ones that need to be taking the matters into their own hands. They need to be looking for the warning signs and then getting an adult to help them. This is too heavy of a topic for them to deal with on their own, but they're going to be the ones that are hearing those warning signs, and then it's up to us to teach them to get the proper help from adults, from the teachers in their building, from their schools, right? From adults that they trust, okay? So here are the warning signs that I have that I wanted to share with you, okay? 1, there's suicidal threats, okay? People will say things, kids will say things, I'd be better off dead, or I won't be bothering anyone anymore, or nobody wants to be around me, okay? This is what you need to teach your teens. Listen for those statements and take them serious. And then don't just listen, ask them point blank, do you want to kill yourself? Have you thought about killing yourself? Do you have a plan? Those are very specific questions that you need to ask to get those answers, because sometimes we take those things and they'll say something, you're like, oh, don't be stupid. Don't be silly. Well, guess what? They're giving you a warning sign. It's up to you to have that really uncomfortable conversation and say to them, do you feel like killing yourself? So using that, practicing that with your kids, practicing that as a parent, right? As a parent, your kid might say that, and it's up to you to ask that really, really hard question. It's uncomfortable, but it's a very simple question, and you're gonna get the answer that you need so that you can give your kiddo the help that they need and desperately are searching for, right? When they say those things, when they mention those things, it's their cry for help, saying, please help me. But if we're missing those warning signs and we're not saying, do you really feel that way? Are you really wanting to kill yourself? You're missing that warning sign, okay? Warning sign number 2. Anger and increase, okay? Are they increasing their anger? Are they more irritable? Are they starting to fight more? Are they like, maybe they just seem like more on edge or more likely to engage in some sort, it doesn't have to be like a physical fight, but maybe they're more engaged in, some sort of like, they're more temperamental. I guess that's the word that I'm looking for. Okay, so that's warning signs number 2. Is their behavior starting to change? Are they starting to become more aggressive? And that's a recent thing that they have found, is that people that are suicidal, their aggression levels increase. Okay, warning sign number 3, students who have a sudden or semi-sudden dwindle in academic performance, right? Is it somebody who has always been a top A student, they've always turned in their work on time, and slowly or, very kind of abruptly or relatively abruptly, like they're not caring about their grades anymore. This is something a teacher can see the warning signs of, right? Like they might notice it first, or their friends might notice it if they have studying partners and they're not interested in studying anymore. Another indicator that there's something else that's possibly going on. Warning sign number 4, and we've heard this, it happens with depression a lot. It can be a lack of appetite or an increased appetite, right? So if you have your kids and they eat lunch and they have meals with their friends and they always eat a ton, like they're just big eaters, and then all of a sudden, like in the last few days, they're not really eating a lot, and you're noticing that they're feeling depressed, and you're noticing that they're feeling angry, and there's like other warning signs. Or let's say it's the opposite, where all of a sudden they're increasing their appetite, right? And they're not really exercising or doing anything to increase their appetites. You are looking for it you are looking for it completely, sorry, I lost my train of thought. You're looking for changes, okay? And then you also want to look, warning sign number 5, is there a sudden change in appearance, right? Have they always looked really kept and really put together, and all of a sudden they're not looking as well kept, or maybe they've changed their appearance, they're dyeing their hair, they're doing some sort of like, again, those behaviors are changing, right? Where they aren't, there's something different about what's going on, right? They might dye their hair, their clothing looks different, or, I don't want to, sometimes that's just changes in adolescence. But when you're putting all of these signs together, you're getting a better picture of what's really going on. And then the 6th warning sign is if they're making final arrangements, right? This is what you need to teach your kids, is are they giving you something that was really special to them and they want you to have that? Or are they, saying, they're giving away things, or they're saying, goodbye, or, all of these signs all together are huge warning signs for adolescents that they're screaming for help. They're screaming to get noticed. They're screaming for somebody to help them. And again, as a parent or as an adult, we're not always the first line of defense. It's the kids, it's their peers, it's their adolescents that are the first line of defense. I know our school district has tried to put into an anonymous report line to help teenagers. that they can call to get the help and support, and it's so important. But we need to really teach our children and educate ourselves as adults, right? Like my audience is moms over here. I'm hoping that there's moms here. And if please make sure that you're sharing this video, guys, because it's such valuable information that can be shared to parents so that they can have these really uncomfortable situations with our kids. But if our suicide rate has doubled in the last 10 years, we know that we are on the verge of an epidemic. Like 3,000 attempts every single day. Now, thank goodness they're not successful attempts. Thank goodness that they're not always successful and that we can pick up on some of those warning signs. But we need to do better as a society to help understand some of the warning signs that are associated with depression, with suicidal ideation, with suicide, right? With a lot of kids have suicidal ideation. Doesn't mean that they're going to actually take it into their hands, but if they're having suicidal ideation, there's something else going on behind the scenes that we need as adults need to understand and need to fix. So please make sure that you guys are sharing this video, because I did it because it's so important. It's so near and dear to my heart. I have worked with adolescents who have suffered depression, who have thoughts of suicide. You know, we are able to get them the help that they need. And when we're able to get them the help that they need as adults, we're able to save their lives, right? It is very untypical for anybody to wake up on that day and say, I'm just going to kill myself. That's not what happens. They give us these warning signs like the ones that I've mentioned below, and it's up to us to kind of piece through the puzzles and understand what it is they're trying to tell us and ask those really uncomfortable questions of, do you want to kill yourself? It's so hard, but it's so important, and you're going to get the information that you need. And there is, and I meant to write it down before I came in live, I'll put it in the comments. There are hotlines out there for adolescents, for parents to call. There's suicidal prevention lines, and I will make sure that I put them in the comments below. If anybody knows them offhand, if you can put them in the comments, I would appreciate it. And again, I hope that this, although it's a really sensitive topic, it's one that we can't hide under any longer, because we've got too many kids and too many adults, let's face it, who are suffering from depression and suicidal ideation, and they actually successfully bring out, or they successfully are successful with their suicide, right? There's a lot of attempts, but not all are successful. And unfortunately, in our community in the last week, we have had 2 successful suicides at the high school. And it just, like I said, I don't know the family. It breaks my heart, because there's got to have been warning signs that we've missed, and that we can do to help so that this doesn't happen again. Like, 1 is too many. Let's be honest. 1 is too many. 2 is horrific, but we need to be able to stop it at 1. So anyways, this was my message for you guys today. As always, I'm always here. I know this one is very not like my ooh, hi, it's Julie, but it's been weighing on my heart, and it's been something that I feel like I need to come out and share so that we can try to help other kids so that they're not suffering and that we can save that life. So anyways, please make sure that you share this video. I hope that it was helpful. I hope that it was filled with value. Have that difficult conversation with your kids. It's not too young to start at like that 9 and 10 age. Like, I've had kids at 9 and 10 tell me that they do want to kill themselves. They don't understand the permanence of saying those, the permanence of suicide at that age, but they've heard it on TV, they've heard it in social media. So your kids aren't too young to have those conversations, because they're hearing it from their friends, and they need to be equipped with how to deal with it. And then we need to teach them that they need to report it to adults, to a safe, trusted adult, whether that be you, an aunt, an uncle, a parent, a community member, somebody that they trust, that they can help, that can help them, because it is too much baggage for them to carry all by themselves, and they're not equipped with how to deal with it completely. So anyways, I hope that is helpful. And as always, please reach out if you have any more questions. I'll make sure I put the suicide hotline numbers in the comments after I'm done with this video. Thanks, guys. Bye.